How's it going, everyone? Today I wanted to start off with kind of a new series. This series will be called the Rules Ranking, and I just kind of wanted to do this series to do a very informal review of video games, movies, and shows, kind of all entertainment media stuff, because it kind of interests me and I wanted to talk about it, so I just thought I'd do this for fun. Basically, what's gonna happen is I'm just gonna talk about the show or game or movie, whatever it is. I'm just gonna talk through it, talk about my thoughts and how well the game or movie is put together, and it'll definitely include spoilers, so make sure not to spoil it for yourself if you care about that. If you don't, then by all means watch. But yeah, I just wanted to do a very informal thing, just kind of talking about it, how I thought, and kind of give it a rating of how I felt. And today I wanted to talk about John Wick Chapter 4, which, oh my gosh, we're starting off with an absolute banger. This video, or not video, this movie is crazy. There was not a second of this movie where I thought, like, man, I wonder when it's gonna end or anything. They had me on my seat, the edge of my seat, sorry, the entire time. This thing is so action-packed, and I think it's a very good and concise conclusion to John Wick's story. I think it's done very well, as long as they don't come out with any more John Wick movies, which they might, because I think this movie got a lot of money in the box office, so they might try to capitalize on that. But I don't think they should do another one with, at least with John in it, maybe explore different opportunities in that world. Basically, the movie starts off and he's going to town in this underground facility or wherever he's living. He's basically living in the sewer right now, and he's going to town on this punching bag, and his little roadie is like, all right, John, you ready? And cuts to him. He's like, yeah. And then it like flips to him in the desert shooting guys on horseback, and he finally gets to this elder guy, and this kind of sets up the whole movie, the whole kind of theme about it, because the elder dude in the desert told him, like, hey, you're not gonna get out of this life unless you basically die, which is really morbid, but oh well. Like, he is in a profession where he kills people, so I can imagine it's pretty hard to get out without dying. John eventually like kills him, because like he doesn't give a fuck. Guy made him angry, so he's just gonna kill him. I'll backtrack a bit. So this hotel manager guy from the previous movies is now in trouble because John's alive when he shot him, and he's supposed to be dead. But the thing about John is that he just doesn't die. That's his whole shtick, his whole theme of his anime arc. He just doesn't die. This hotel manager guy gets in trouble, and this marquee guy comes in. He's like on one of the chairs, one of the head people that run the table, and he's very upset with him, and he basically wants John dead. What he does is he blows up his hotel, which is bonkers. Like, you could have just decommissioned him, but no, to prove a statement, let's just blow up this this entire building in the middle of New York. Like, no one will think that's suspicious. So they do that, and he's super pissed at him, revokes his hotel rights or whatever, like taking his Halloween candy. The hotel guy is now looking for John because he thinks John can help him. At this point, John goes to his friend's place in Japan. The hotel manager there is an old friend of John's, and his daughter is very against John Wick himself. Like, his very being upsets her because he leaves so much death and destruction wherever he goes. She just doesn't want him around because she doesn't want, people close to her to die, which is understandable. And so while he's there, the guy who's now trying to hunt down John enlists one of John's old friends, this guy named Kane. And this guy has a daughter whom he does not want her to get hurt for obvious reasons. It's his daughter. The Marquis dicks attack the hotel, and so shit there gets crazy, and that's like the first actual scene you see John going through and just mass murdering people like it's nothing. He starts going through the whole hotel. So they were smart and they evacuated everyone before the Marquis started, getting rowdy like a bunch of teenage boys on a basketball team. And some of those first scenes are crazy, and I will say that all of the fight scenes that they do in this are so creative. I can't even fathom how much time it must have taken to actually pull these things off and practice them, because the stunts are amazing. John's constantly doing jujitsu and big close combat shit, like taking people down and shooting them with his pistol. Like, the guys that attack him are armored too, and armor's not going to protect you against John Wick. He just blasts right through that like a bullet train going through a car. So he just deals with those guys, and John starts fighting Kane on his own. It's like the first time John actually found out that Kane got his name and is trying to kill him. The fight kind of ends when this random dude, like some hobo guy with his dog off the street that was at the hotel, starts shooting at them. I guess he had his sights on John for a long time, so he just starts inserting himself. It's like third wheeling, but a lot more deranged than that. He was just inserting himself into this situation, trying to kill John Wick. It was a long movie. I was trying to remember as much as I could. It was like a whole brain explosion trying to go through everything. But I guess I should also mention that Kane is blind. That doesn't really matter when he's fighting. He is still like a freak of nature, can just pretty much do anything he wants to. He can fight people however he wants to. But some certain scenes play into that. Like, there's a scene where John falls through like a glass pane, and he's sitting there, and Kane thinks he's dead when John's really just sitting there silently. And then he accidentally rustles on the glass, and Kane starts shooting him, so he has to roll out of the way. So there's some really creative scenes in there involving that too. There's these old traditions, these old ways where he can get out if basically he challenges this Marquis guy to a duel. John was like, okay, how do I do that? And the guy's like, oh, well, you have to have a crime family sponsor you as part of the table, and then have like a secondary, like a actual person who will sponsor him. Basically, while this is happening, that hobo dude that inserted himself into the third wheel situation, he talks to the Marquis guy, the one who sent Kane to kill him. He told this Marquis guy, like, oh, I can track down John Wick and I'll let you know where he's at for $20 million or something. So it's like everyone's trying to get a bite of the sandwich, and John's the sandwich. He's trying to bite the person biting him. That analogy is really weird. I don't know why I used a sandwich. But another thing is that John wears this suit that's looks like a normal, nice suit, but it's made out of Kevlar, so he's constantly blocking bullets with this thing, which is crazy. And so he gives him this suit, and he does this really funny like one-liner where he was like, yeah, man's gotta look his best whether he's looking to get married or get buried. John just kind of looks at him like, oh shit. Through this entire town, it's probably like over an hour long fight scene, which is really cool. They get creative with it, obviously. So it starts off, he's shooting some dudes and gets in a car, but he drops his gun, so he's driving away and picks up his gun as he's driving and is shooting people, but the doors are both like, they basically got smashed off by other cars, so he's just driving in this dune buggy-esque car. There was this really cool video gamey top-down view of John like running around killing people, and he picks up this incendiary shotgun, so he's, you know, killing bastards with that in this top-down view. It's really cool, and there's heightened music going around. He has to climb like an insane amount of stairs basically to get up to this duel. So he's doing this, killing all these people, going up these stairs, and he gets very close to the top. The guy like Spartan kicks him all the way down the stairs, and it's just this really funny like 2 or 3 minutes of John just rolling downstairs all the way to the bottom. So it's a very intense, fast-paced movie where things are just continuously happening. There's not very many slow parts, and there's a lot of really funny things. Like John will just say something, like someone will say something to him and he'll just be like, fuck you, and shoots him, stuff like that. And the action scenes are just so intense and beautifully made. I think it's a very good ending, like a very well made thing. I do like how it was a nice, concise ending. Like in the movie, the ending wasn't super concise. It's a very nice closure to the series as a whole. But anyways, yeah, that's my review of it. Just kind of going over the whole thing. Rating it, I would definitely give it a like 97 because it is just such a fun, fast-paced movie. It's so well done. The writing is great. Everything made sense to me, and you know, the acting was on point as well. So I would definitely recommend watching it at some point. But anyways, thank you for watching and listening to me ramble. I hope you guys enjoyed, and as always, I will see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.